Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is paper. P-A-P-E-R.
He spells, too. Really?
You bet your life. More than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers in America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
Groucho! Careful how you handle that name. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $3,500 for one of our couples.
Groucho, we have a pair of young, unattached people now who are...
Well, how lucky you are.
Who've not met each other up until this moment.
Oh.
I'd like you to meet them now. Just before we went in the air, our studio audience selected them. They're Miss Carol Silverspar and Mr. Robert Murray. Meet Groucho Marx, kid.
Well, welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Miss Carol Silverspar. Where are you from? That's an odd name, Silverspar, isn't it?
Yes, it's Swedish.
Oh, are you svenska?
No, just the name.
Oh, just the name, huh? And may I ask how old you are?
Yes, I'm 20.
20, eh? And not married, huh?
Not yet.
Don't be so elated, Carol. And Robert Murray, huh?
That's right, sir.
That's a fine upstand. Where are you from, Bob?
San Francisco, sir.
San Francisco, huh? And what is your age?
26.
You're not married either?
No, not married.
What do you think of Carol here?
Well, my book, she's all right. Kind of cute.
Have you got your book with you? Maybe I can... You're in the book business, huh, Bob?
No, I'm in paint business.
Oh. I thought you said in your book. Oh, well. I'm in the paint business myself, you know.
Fine.
I'm what they call the varnishing American. Among other things. Now, what company do you work for?
W.P. Fuller and Company.
Oh. They have good paints, too, huh? What's your job there?
I'm pebble mill operator. Paint mixer.
You make pebble? You mean you make big ones, little ones out of big ones?
Well,
What's a pebble mill?
Well, a pebble mill is a tank that's used in making paint. It mixes paint.
Oh, in other words, you mix paints, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Well, how do you mix them?
At first, you run a vehicle and a pigment together, and that makes a paste.
That's so. I should think if you ran a pigment and a vehicle together, you'd get pork chops. Now, Carol, who do you work for?
I'm with Rosemary Reed Swimsuit Company.
You work for an outfit that makes bathing suits for girls?
Yes.
Oh, that's about as dull a job as I can think of. Huh? What do you do there?
Well, I'm assistant to the publicity manager, and I also model suits and shows.
How do you feel about bathing beauties, Bob?
Oh, I like
Don't
them.
say you've never bathed any. That's a very old joke. I'm not in the mood for old jokes. By the way, are you busy tomorrow night, Carol?
Yes, I am.
She's not in the mood for old jokes either. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $3,500 question. But first, here's some advice I want you to hear about.
Have you seen?
Did you ride?
Did you drive a new DeSoto? Hurry up
Do it now
at your dealers today.
Yes, do it now. Visit your DeSoto Plymouth dealer and get acquainted with the car that's designed for you and your budget, too. The new, the 1952 DeSoto. Here's a car of solid comfort, with chair-high seats that give you plenty of legroom and smooth-riding Oriflow shock absorbers to baffle the bumps. There's added safety, with extra-wide windshield and window areas for better vision, and safety rim wheels to protect your family in case of blowouts. And remember the protection you get with DeSoto's waterproof ignition that lets you drive in any kind of weather. See it, ride in it, drive the exciting new 1952 DeSoto, the car that's designed for you and your budget, too. Now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
It's designed for you and your budget too. It's the 1952 22. DeSoto.
And remember, the dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth, the value jewel of the low-priced field.
Let's see how you work together as a team. Mr. Fenneman, would you mind explaining the rules?
You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $3,500 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
Here's your first question. How much of the 20 are you going to bet?
10.
Okay.
10? A large city in Wisconsin has the same name as the 4th President of the United States. What is the name of this city?
Madison.
Madison is right.
And you're on your way with $30.
I took some Madison right before the show. Remember, you're going for $3,500 tonight. How much of your $30 are you going to bet this time?
25.
Okay. The capital of North Carolina has the same name as a famous English soldier and explorer. What is the name of this city?
Raleigh.
Raleigh is right. Raleigh is right.
You now have $55.
Raleigh. Well, here's your third question. How much of the 55 are you going to bet?
50.
$50. One of the largest cities in Texas was named for the first president of the Texas Republic. What is the name of this city?
Houston.
Houston is right.
You've climbed to $105.
This is your last chance to beat the other couples. You're going to bet how much?
We'll take it all.
You're going to bet $105.
105.
The capital of Nevada was named after a western frontiersman. What is the name of this city?
Carson.
Carson City is right. We're there.
And you wind up with a grand total of $210.
Thanks and Thanks and the season's greetings from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We have a housewife and a grandmother for you now, Groucho, and here they are.
Familiar.
Mrs. Myrtie Hardy Green and Mrs. Lois Coons. Ladies, meet Groucho Marx. Right in here.
Well, welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mrs. Mighty Hardy Green, eh? Well, you don't look very green, but I must say you look mighty hardy. You mind if I call you Mrs. Green?
No.
Where are you from, mate?
I was born in Chicago.
Do you live there now?
No.
Where do you live now?
I live in Wilthall, Montana.
Lois, where are you from?
I was born in Sydney, Australia.
Well, that's the Antipodes, isn't it?
That's right.
I see. How long have you been in this country?
5.5 years.
And you're a grandmother, huh?
Not me.
No. Oh. You've lived here how long?
5.5 years.
Well, say, you've learned to speak the language very quickly, haven't you? Did you have much trouble understanding people when you first arrived here?
Oh, they speak English in Australia.
I know, but very few people speak it in the United States. You say you're not a grandmother?
No.
Well, then, are you a grandmother, Mrs.
Yes,
Green?
I am.
Oh. You don't look like a grandmother.
Well, I am.
May I ask your age?
Yes.
How old are you, Mrs. It's a question I always hate to ask. How old are you, Mrs. Green?
Well, I was 69 my last birthday.
Well, you certainly don't look it. You're a tribute to Montana. In short, Mrs. Green, you're a beaut.
Thank you. Montana?
What brought you to Hollywood, Mrs. Green? And don't say the Santa Fe Railroad, because that joke is older than both of us.
Well, I came to Hollywood on business for the National Federation of Grandmothers Clubs of America.
The National Federation of Grandmothers? You mean even grandmothers carry union cards these days?
They're organized.
Lois, how did you... We'll take this up a little later.
All right.
It's
Please
pretty
do.
serious stuff, yes. And something I don't want to skim by this. Lois, how did you meet your husband? Unfortunately, I understand you're married.
I was in a coffee lounge in Sydney, and an American came in. He was one of the first 3 Americans in Sydney. Then a week or so after that, my mother thought it would be nice to invite 2 Americans down for the weekend, and so she called him up and asked him to come down, bring a cobber with him.
Bring what?
A cobber. It's
What's that, a bear?
a cove.
A cove.
Well, a bloke, a pal. You call it a pal.
I thought you had a bear in a cave there for a second.
Well,
You were lonely for a bloke, is that it? Lois, I'm always on the lookout for jokes from other countries. Could you recall one or two down under corkers?
Oh dear, they told so many. Well, there was one about the American airman who was wounded and woke up in an Australian hospital after being unconscious. He opened his eyes and said to the nurse, "Oh, nurse, did they bring me here to die?" And she said, "No, they brought you yesterday."
Well, if that's a typical Australian joke, no wonder Australia is down under. Now, you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, you'll get a chance at the $3,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The young people won $210.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected Name the Fruit. Is that right?
Yes.
Here's your
Don't know
first
anything
question.
about
How much will you bet, Lois?
10, huh?
$10?
10.
All right. What kind of a fruit is a Bing?
Cherry.
Cherry is right. I always thought it was a Crosby.
You're on your way. You have $30.
How much of your $30 are you going to bet on your second question?
25.
All right. What kind of a fruit is a Macintosh?
Apple.
Apple is right.
You now have $55.
$55. Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
Say 1 cent.
Say
One.
Okay.
we-
You're going to bet $54.99.
Oh, wait a minute.
Is that right?
Oh, no,
No.
we better...
You bet
Oh,
5.
say 5.
Come on. Time's
Say
wasting.
5 then.
All right. You're going to bet $50. What kind of a fruit is a catawba? C-A-T-A-W-B-A.
Melon. Talbot.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a grape.
You now have $5.
Now, here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the $5 will you bet?
All 5.
Oh, $5. All right. What kind of a fruit is an Alberta?
Peach.
Peach is right. Now, wait a minute. Now, we're going to give you one question here. This will be for $15, so that will give you a total of $25. Now, this is a tough question. I want you to think hard, and please no help from the audience. From what animal do we get a rabbit's foot?
Rabbit.
A rabbit is right. Now you've got $25. Thanks, and a Happy New Year from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Groucho, we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Robert W. Berry, Director of Civil Defense for the City of Los Angeles. His partner is a sailor from the United States Navy, selected by our studio audience just before we went on the air. And Groucho, Mr. Berry is really a rear admiral in the Navy, but, of course, we haven't told the sailor that yet. So let's bring him in now, shall we? Groucho, I'd like you to meet Mr. Berry and Seaman Cecil Hawkins. And here they are now.
Welcome, kids, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Now, let's see. Mr. Robert W. Berry and Seaman Cecil Hawkins, eh? Mr. Berry, where are you from?
Well, I was born on the east side of New York, on 91st Street and 3rd Avenue, over a saloon.
Over a saloon.
That is correct.
Say, you come right in my neighborhood. I used to live 93rd Street. I was born 78th Street and 3rd Avenue. Not over a saloon, though. I was born over a whisker shaft, which is a bologna factory. And I've been dishing it out ever since. Sailor, what's your home?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
How old are you?
26.
How long you been in the Navy, Commander?
Well, I'm not a commander. I'm a seaman. 8 years.
On this program, you're a commander. I just promoted you. What kind of a mud scow are you on?
Well, I'm on a tanker, AO-58.
A tanker?
Yeah, the Manatee, USS Manatee.
Where did you go on your last trip?
Well, we just come back from Korea.
Say, as I recall it, your whole crew went down to the blood bank, didn't they?
Yes, sir, the whole crew, 100% of them, donated blood.
Well, I'm glad to have the opportunity to thank you personally, Cecil.
Thanks.
This ought to make a lot of people ashamed of themselves that the boys in the service have to do this. You have a lot of ribbons on your chest there, too. What do they stand for?
Well, Groucho, I got a few of them during the last war. And I'm getting a few in this one. I have the United Nations and the Korean ribbon, Japanese occupation, American theater, and Philippine liberation, and China service, and good conduct, and so forth. Go on.
Now, Cecil, I'm curious. What's life in the Navy like these days? For example, what's the first thing you do in the morning? Fall overboard?
No, we heave out and trice up.
You better explain. I don't think Mr. Berry knows what you're talking about. I do, but he doesn't. You explain it to Mr. Berry. He's a landlubber.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Berry, heave out and trice up is that you get out of your sack the first thing in the morning, and after you're out of your sack, you put your rack up. You see, you hook it up where it'll be out of the way of the passageway so the fellows can move about their work, you see.
What do you think of it, Mr. Berry? How do you like life in the Navy? How does it sound to you? You think you'd like it?
It sounds very interesting to me. Believe me, it sounds very interesting.
You can learn something from this fellow here. Huh? I can just see you heaving out and tricing up at 6 in the morning. Now, look, Cecil, you're out here in front of a lot of people. Is there anything about the Navy that you'd like to see change? You know, this is your big chance, you know. Go ahead, speak up. I'll protect you.
Well,
a lot of Navy people listen all over the world to this show, and you know, you might be doing some good for it.
Well, there's a new uniform they're trying to put out now, Groucho. It has pants pockets, just like the trousers that the civilians wear. Mm-hmm. And they don't look too well. It's sloppy looking, and it's not typical Navy as it always has been. And the Reveille, they have 0600 Reveille every morning. That's 365 days a year. I'd like to see about getting that changed.
You realize, of course, this is mutiny, don't you, Cecil? There might be some admirals listening in. You better be careful. Commander, no, I think I'll make you an admiral now, Cecil. Would you rather be a vice admiral or a rear admiral?
Well, since you're promoting me, I'd rather be a full admiral.
Well, what do you want to be full of, beans? Why would you rather be a full admiral?
Well, full admiral is as high as you can go.
Well, some admirals can go pretty high, especially around New Year's Eve. Cecil, do you think I'd make a good sailor?
Well, frankly, no.
How about Mr. Berry here? How long do you think he'd last in the Navy?
Well, he wouldn't last very long. He might get through a hitch, then he might not. I don't think he'd be suited for the job. It's mostly for young men.
Well, what do you think of admirals in general? Or what do you think of generals in admiral? No. What do you think of admirals in general?
Well, I hadn't been around admirals very much. Don't know.
Well, I have news for you, see. So this is the first time an admiral has ever been this close to a sailor. Seaman, I'd like you to shake hands with Rear Admiral Robert W. Berry of the United States Navy.
All right,
Cecil, I just said shake hands. You don't have to shake all over, you know. Now, how long do you say you thought he'd last in the Navy?
Yeah, not very long.
Well, Admiral, tell me, how long have you been in the Navy?
Well, I'm now retired, Mr. Marks, but I had 36 and a half years with the Navy.
Well, even now that you're retired, do you still have to heave out and trice up at 6 in the morning? And if you say yes, I'll cancel your shore leave. Admiral Berry, before we go any further, he's a real nice admiral, isn't he?
Yes, sir, very nice.
You could be in irons, you know, in 15 minutes. Admiral Berry, before we go any further, I want to thank you for coming here tonight. I know how busy you are, so let's talk about your present job. I understand that you're in charge of civil defense in Los Angeles. Is that right?
That is correct, Mr. Marks.
And what does that consist of?
The main thing is to make certain to see that every man, woman, and child in the city of Los Angeles is conscious of civil defense.
Well, that's a very big job. It's tough enough just to see to it that everyone in Los Angeles is conscious. Now tell me, Admiral Berry, how can the average citizen participate in your program? Because this is real important.
There's several simple points that everybody should learn. One, I recommend wholeheartedly, Mr. Marks, that every household in our country have some person trained in first aid techniques. That training is given by our great American National Red Cross. That is at no cost to the citizen at all.
Well, suppose it was an atomic attack. What should the average citizen do about it?
Well, I think the main thing to do is know what to do with your utilities. That's the first thing to do. In other words, turn your gas, water, and electricity off at the normal appliance, right at the stove or the wall switch, but leave the electricity on so that you can turn your radios on. The radio is the important thing so you can receive official instructions from your disaster organization in your local city.
I hope this is clear to all you people out there, because this may be very important to all of us. Well, Sailor Boy, have you thought of anything else about the Navy that you'd like to have changed? We have an admiral here, you know. Just speak up. He can't hurt you. He's retired.
Well, frankly, Groucho, I like the Navy. We'll just leave it like it is.
Well, apparently you do like it. That was the shortest mutiny in the history of the sea. Well, we're grateful to both of you, because the both of you are fighting to keep the rest of us safe and alive, and it's been a privilege to talk with you, and I wish each of you the greatest success in your jobs.
Well, thank you so much, Davis Marks.
Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life, and you beat our other couples, and you get a chance at the $3,500 question. Can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The young people still lead with $210.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected words beginning with the letters P-E-R. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
Oh.
Talk it over with the Admiral.
Oh, well, we'll say $10.
$10.
Yeah.
What do you call a pleasant scent or fragrance? Begins with the letters per. P-E-R.
Perfume.
Perfume is right. Remember, you're going for $3,500. How much of the $30 will you bet on your second question?
You're the quarterback, Roy. Whatever you want.
Well, let's see.
That's a real admiral, shifting all the responsibilities of sailor.
We'll bet $25 of it.
$25.
Yeah.
Submarines use this device to scan the surface while remaining submerged. What do you call it? Begins with P-E-R.
Periscope.
Periscope is right.
You're climbing. You have $55.
All right, here's your third question. How much of the 55 you going to go for?
$50.
$50. What is it called when you bear false witness or speak falsely under oath? P-E-R.
Perjury.
Perjury.
Perjury is right. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much are the 55?
No, they have
$105.
$105 now.
How much you going to bet?
Shoot the word.
Shoot the work.
Shoot.
105.
What is the word beginning with per, used in punctuation, marking the end of a sentence?
Period.
Period is right.
And you wind up with a grand total of $210. And that means that you're tied with the young people, our first couple. They also had $210, and in just 1 minute, you'll both get a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $3,500 question. It's open season for New Year's resolutions, and I hope you car owners make a firm resolve to take better care of your car this coming year. You know, expert service, regular service, including proper lubrication, will add many miles of safe driving to your car, with a definite saving on gas and oil, on tire wear, and on replacement of parts. And friends, no place, anywhere, is better fitted to give you this kind of service than a DeSoto Plymouth dealers, because DeSoto Plymouth dealers service is tailored to the highest standards. The mechanics who work on your car are trained in factory methods. They work with the most modern tools and equipment. And if your car should need it, your DeSoto Plymouth dealer has access to the right factory-tested and approved replacement parts. All this adds up to top service, and you'll find it's courteous service at a fair price. So resolve to do your car a good turn this year. Take it where you see the famous sign of better service, the friendly sign of a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And here come our winning couples, the young people and the Admiral and the sailor, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $3,500 question. Everybody in.
Okay, here we are now. Here we go with two couples tied for a chance at the $3,500. Each couple will decide on a single answer and write it down on one of these cards. If both couples get it right, we'll split the money between them. Okay, you have 15 seconds after I read you the question. Here it is. In 1595, Sir Walter Raleigh led an expedition to South America in search of a mythical city of great riches. Many other adventurers later searched in vain for this legendary city of gold. For $3,500, what name do we know it by? Write it down on a piece of paper. All right, I'll read the cards, one card at a time. This is Lake, what is this?
Titicaca.
No, that's not, and Inca is wrong. It's El Dorado, I think.
El Dorado.
El Dorado is right. There it is.
Nice try, Rod. Nice try.
That was a tough question. I'm sorry, the correct answer is El Dorado. That means the big question next week will be worth $4,000. Well, you lost the big money, but you each won. How much did they win?
$210 in the
Well, that's not too bad. Congratulations, and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight. From the DeSoto Plymouth dealers, you bet your life.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $4,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the 1952 DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. In today's high-speed traffic, it's more important than ever to keep a safe stopping distance behind the vehicle ahead. Stay at least one vehicle length behind for every 10 miles per hour under good conditions, but more when streets are wet and icy. Oh, by the way, Groucho's on the cover of Time magazine this week. Thought you might like to read about him. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is hand. H-A-N-D.
Ham, did you say?
Hand.
Oh, H-A... Oh, really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
Name droppers. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $4,000 for one of our couples.
Groucho, we invited some men from the State Highway Department to the show tonight, and just before we went...
There are men walking up and down the highway that you invited here tonight?
Oh, they're from the Department of the State Highways.
Oh, I see.
We invited them to the show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Dexter McBride. His partner is a girl with an interesting occupation, Miss Anna Mahler.
Well, how cozy.
And here they come, folks. Come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome. Welcome, folks, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Dexter McBride and Mr. Dexter McBride and Miss Anna Mahler. Mr. McBride, where are you from?
I'm from the South, sir, from Virginia. Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. That's where the sailors hang out, isn't it?
That's right, sir.
Isn't that right? Are you married?
Yes, I am, sir.
And Miss Anna Mahler, huh? Where are you from, Anna?
I'm from Vienna.
Oh, Vienna. In that case, I'll practice some old-world charm. I'm charmed to meet you, my dear.
Charmed to meet you, Mr. Marx.
Please, let's not overdo this. Okay?
Okay.
Okie dokie? Hunky dory? That's old-world charm. May I kiss your hand, mademoiselle?
I'm not mademoiselle. I'm married.
In that case, you can kiss your own hand. Let's play this Vienna string out here. How long have you been in America, Mrs. Mahler?
I'm not Mrs. Mahler. I'm Mrs. Fistulari.
What happened to Mrs. Mahler? She was here just a minute ago. And where did Fistulari come from?
From Russia.
Fistulari sounds like a skyrocket. Where did he come from? Where?
Russia.
From Russia? He came from Russia? That's a good place to come from. Okay, okie dokie. Spell it in plain English. What's the scoop? How come you're Mahler, but you're really a Fistulari?
Well, I started working with the name of Mahler, and so I didn't want to muddle everybody up and change. And then I married. And so I became Mrs. Fistulari.
Well, that's logical.
Yeah.
Well, Mahler's a very famous name in Austria. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I know. So? Gustav Mahler was my father.
Oh, really? Well, this is an honor. He was one of the greatest of the modern composers. Now, Anna, you don't mind if I call you Anna, huh?
Sure.
Because I'm a music lover, too. Now, what sort of work do you do? Are you in music, too?
I sculpt. I'm a sculptress.
Oh, sculpting. Are you a lady barber, you mean?
Well, I deal with heads very often, but I prefer stone heads.
Well, when you're in business, I guess you can't be too fussy. How did you happen to carve out a career for yourself in sculpturing?
Well, I started drawing very early, and then I painted, but these paintings always looked like pieces of sculpture, so I thought it was better to do the real thing. Mm-hmm. And since then, I'm very happy and don't want to do anything else.
Well, it sounds like a very pleasant profession.
Just stand there and chisel all day. That's about the size of it, isn't it, Anna?
I don't think so. It's
You don't, huh?
very heavy. It's very dirty. It ruins your hand. It's dusty. And it's...
Wait a minute. You said hands. You said hands, and you and your partner here are going to split $100. It's 50 for you and 50 for you.
That's a very good beginning.
Yes, that's an excellent beginning. Now, Fenneman says you're from the State Highway Department?
That's right, sir.
What do you do there?
I'm a right-of-way agent with the State of California Division of Highways.
Right-of-way? That's
Right-of-way.
ridiculous. On the California highways, no one has the right-of-way. What do you mean by a right-of-way man?
Right-of-way man is a man who acquires for the state necessary highways, necessary right-of-ways in order that freeways can be constructed.
Mm-hmm. I've often wondered when you fellows put in a new highway, what happens to the houses that stand in the way?
Well, the great majority of them are somewhat easily removed. About 90% are
You
removed.
remove them with the occupants in them, or do you first consult with them?
There's a little consultation that goes on prior to that time. About 10%.
How long? About 5 minutes?
Sometimes it takes months.
It does.
Many months of negotiation. About 90% of the homes are removed to new locations, set up, remodeled, and about 10% are necessarily demolished and used to construct other homes or other buildings or other work.
Is that so? I imagine you've had some interesting experiences in that kind of a job. Are there some you could tell us about?
We've had a great many. They happen every day. One of the more interesting experiences, we thought, was the moving by a private contractor of a home, which he was moving to a new location over a portion of the roadway. There was a bridge over the road, and the house got stuck by about
I was stuck with a house in Beverly Hills. I didn't know a house could get stuck. I thought only the owners.
Well, this house was firmly wedged under the bridge, and they couldn't push it forward. They couldn't pull it back. They didn't know what to do with it. So 2 o'clock passed to 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and about 5 o'clock a youngster came by who was getting ready to peddle the morning papers, and he observed the proceedings, and he finally ventured to say to a few of the contractors and engineers, he says, "Say, fellas, if that was my job," he says, "I'd let some of the air out of the tires," and they did, and the house proceeded on.
That newsboy is now General Eisenhower. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $4,000 question. But first, I want you to pay attention to this. Did you know we're expecting a blessed event?
Delivery date this Friday. And what a beautiful baby. The new Plymouth for 1952. At your DeSoto Plymouth dealers this Friday.
And talk about value.
You'll cast a loving eye on Plymouth's luxurious new tone-tailored interiors. Roomy, comfortable, truly distinctive.
Talk about value.
The famous Plymouth 7-to-1 high-compression engine, this year with an important new type of cylinder head. For power that's super smooth, super quiet.
Yes, talk about value.
You simply can't approach the relaxed comfort of a ride in Plymouth. Not in any other low-priced car. And another better-than-ever feature for 52, Plymouth Safeguard hydraulic brakes now have cycle bond linings, which give you more braking surface and last longer.
Yes, talk about value, and you're talking about Plymouth. The new Plymouth, the 1952 Plymouth.
See it this Friday at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
All right, now let's see how well you work together as a team. George, tell them the rules.
You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $4,000 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected books and authors. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you bet?
15, perhaps.
Anna?
All right.
All right, who wrote Ivanhoe?
What's his name?
I can't.
Of course, I know.
Scott is right. Walter Scott.
You're off to a good start. You have $35.
There's no point in asking Fenneman, Miss Marla, because to begin with, he's not allowed to tell you, and in the second place, he doesn't know. Remember, you're going for $4,000 tonight. Now, how much of the $35 are you going to risk this time?
Let's do all of it, but 4 or 5 cents.
All right.
How much?
You're going to bet $34 and 95 cents, is that right?
96 cents.
$34.96. This is what they call Ausgereichens, huh? All right, who wrote Les Miserables?
Hugo.
Victor Hugo is right. It's going to be very interesting to hear Fenneman compute this.
Well, the first one's easy. You now have $69.
This is going to be a great ad for, what is it, San Francisco State University?
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. This is right this time, I'm sure.
Okay.
You have $69.96.
Mm-hmm. Is that right, Miss Marla?
Well, you should know. I can't count.
All right, here we go. How much are you going to bet on your third question?
50?
Let's do all of it, but a couple of pennies.
Talk right out.
We'll do all of it,
He's
but...
got a principle.
All right, you're going to do $69.94. Who wrote The Last of the Mohicans?
Fenimore Cooper.
James Fenimore Cooper.
You now have $139.90.
Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much are you going to bet?
Let's do the whole thing.
Here we go. Who wrote A Farewell to Arms?
There you go. Think hard, huh?
If you don't know, take a stab.
Sorry.
I'm terribly sorry. It's Ernest Hemingway. Should have known that.
Isn't that terrible?
Well, I'm sorry. We can't let you go away broke.
That's terrible.
We don't let anybody go away broke on this show, Miss Marla, so we're going to give you one more question. You answered correctly, and we'll see that you don't leave here with less than $25. You've got nothing, so $25 will make up the difference between nothing and $25. I think hard, and please no help from the audience. What kind of fruit do you use in a peach pie? Peaches is right. Put it there. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Groucho, we invited some dancing teachers to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mrs. Mary Peck Farmer. Her partner is also from the audience, Mr. Gordon Giblin. He's a stevedore. Folks, come on in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mrs. Mary Peck Farmer. And Mr. Gordon Giblin? Giblin?
Giblin.
Giblin, huh? Giblins will get you if you don't watch out. Where are you from? You must be pretty sick of that joke, huh?
Yeah. It's usually giblets in the gravy or something like that.
Well, this was a little more
refined,
stupid than You're a stevedore, is that Giblin?
That's right.
Is that right, Stevie?
That's
right.
What's
the difference? Is there a difference between a stevedore and a longshoreman?
Yes, a longshoreman, he loads on the dock, and the stevedore loads on the ship.
How long does it take to get this dock loaded?
Well, that depends.
Whole thing sounds pretty shaky to me. What's the principal job of a stevedore?
Well, the principal job is to take cargo from the dock and put it aboard the ships, or vice versa, whichever the case may be. Ships coming in or going out.
I suppose I wanted to be a stevedore. What would I need besides a boat and a pier? I've already got a dock. It's not much good, but I keep them for sentimental reasons. I want to stay alive. What would I need to be a stevedore?
Well, to stay alive, you'd have to have a union book and a strong back.
What do you think of my back? It's pretty rugged, isn't it?
Well, you're glad you don't have to make your living as a stevedore.
Well, you're lucky you said that when my back was turned.
I'm still saying you're lucky you don't have to make a living as a stevedore.
You wouldn't say it if I had my 4 brothers here. Miss Farmer, you're a dancing teacher, is that right?
Yes, I am.
Well, let's discuss the light fantastic. My age, I'd rather discuss it than trip it. How much would you charge to make a dancer out of me? Nothing fancy, just sort of like Gene Kelly or perhaps Astaire.
Well, I've only been teaching children.
Well, I'm in my second childhood. Where's your school?
It's in Burbank, California.
What's the name of this temple of terpsichore?
It's in my own name. It's Mary Farmer Dance Studio.
And you, are these little terpsichoreans North terpsichoreans or South terpsichoreans? How many children are enrolled at this emporium?
Well, right now I have 200 children.
You have? Well, don't come running to me with your problems. Tell me, what are some of the things you teach these little monsters besides how to pay in advance?
Well, we teach ballet, tap, acrobatic, toe.
Acrobatic toe? What's that?
They're different subjects.
I have an acrobatic toe. I can't get my one shoe on. Now, why don't you ask me something about ballet? Go ahead.
What's Surly Cootie Pig?
What was that?
Oh, those are foot beats at the bar.
These little ballet dancers put their feet on the bar? Ballet up to the bar, boys. The drinks are on the house. Well, you're a charming couple, and next time you're in the neighborhood, stop in and say hello to your DeSoto Plymouth dealer. You don't have to buy a car. Just stop in and say hello, that's all. Of course, they'd prefer that you bought a car, but you can't do that. Just say hello. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. All you got to do is beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $4,000 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The man from the highway department and the sculptress went broke, so this couple has a clear field, and the secret word is still hand.
Oh, by the way, before I forget it, here's a note I wanted to mention. There's a serious contribution to American literature in the new issue of Look magazine. That's for January 1st, you see. It's called The Secret Letters of Julius Marx. And that's me. And that'll give you an idea of why I'm now called Groucho. Anyway, Look has collected some of my letters, and you may find them amusing. Just want you to know that I can spell, among my other meager talents. Here we go. We're going to play You Bet Your Life. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected male and female of the species. This should be very interesting. Here's your first question. How much of the $20 will you risk?
15.
15. What do you call a male sheep?
Ram.
Ram is right.
You're off to a good start. You have $35.
He says that to everybody. Remember, you're going for $4,000 tonight. How much of the $35 will you bet on your second question?
34.50.
What do you call a male elephant?
A bull.
A bull is right.
You now have $69.50.
Here's your third question. How much of the money will you bet this time?
69.25.
69.25.
What do you call a female rabbit?
A doe.
Doe is right.
You now have $138.75.
Are you sure you haven't got an animal farm instead of a dancing school? Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much are you going to try?
138.50.
All right. What do you call a male duck?
A drake.
A drake is right.
And you'll wind up with $277.25.
Put it there, kid. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We asked if there
DeSoto
were...
Plymouth dealers.
we asked if there are any...
I'm not allowed to sing anymore on the show.
We asked if there are any clubmen in our audience tonight, and from those who volunteered, Mr. Edward Peterson was chosen to be on the show. His partner is a young woman from the audience, Miss Patricia DeCondi. Folks, come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word, and you divide $100 in cash. You divide $100 in cash. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Patricia DeCondi. And Edward Peterson, is that right? Yes. Mr. Peterson, I'll start with you. Where are you from, Pete? Edward? Eddie? What do you prefer being called?
Ed, Eddie.
Eddie?
Anything you like.
Okay. Well, anything I like is... That could be rather dangerous. Are you married, Ed?
No, sir, I'm not.
Why not?
Oh, I was born single. I haven't seen sufficient reason for any change.
What a magnificent tribute to womanhood. Well, if you get married, there won't be any change. Not in your pockets, at least. Ed, how old are you?
I'm 46.
Forget it. It's a cheap joke. You're how old?
I'm 46.
46? Well, you're a pretty young-looking 46. Do you attribute that to the fact that you're a bachelor?
No, sir, to outdoor living.
Outdoor living makes you healthy?
It seems to.
I lived outdoors just one night, and I got bitten by 2 dogs and a snapdragon. Patricia DeConde, where are you from, Pat?
I'm from Manhattan Island.
Manhattan? You were born in Manhattan?
Yes.
I was born in New York, too. Manhattan. I'm a slum boy. You don't mind if I call you Pat, do you,
Of course
Pat?
not.
Yeah, I'll call you Pat, and you can call me Mike. What sort of work do you do, Pat?
Oh, I'm a beauty consultant.
A beauty consultant? Well, you're a pretty good ad for that place. What kind of beauties do you consult?
Oh,
I've consulted a few in my time.
I don't consult them. They consult me. I give classes in skincare and hair care, contour makeup.
Oh, is that? Well, where do you do your consulting?
The various-
Never can tell. I might be interested in a consultation myself.
Well, I'm afraid I do it at the various Army, Navy, and air bases throughout the country.
The armed forces are taking beauty treatments?
Well, at least
I guess that's what Truman meant by fantastic new weapons. Well, let's hope they keep their powder dry. Fenneman says you're a clubman. What club do you belong to?
I belong to the Sierra Club.
You mean that jive joint down on Western Avenue? I was thrown out of that just 2 weeks ago. What's the Sierra Club?
The Sierra Club is an organization dedicated to the conservation of natural resources.
You mean don't let your faucets drip? Now, what are some of the activities of the Sierra Club?
The Sierra Club sponsors trips into the mountain areas of our state to study the flora, fauna, and geology of
Now
the
you're
areas.
talking, huh?
That publishes authentic information on the mountain areas of our state. It also enlists the public's interest in conservation of our national parks, national monuments, state parks, and wilderness areas, and furthers the study of flora and fauna.
Well, this flora and fauna, that interests me for some strange reason. Are there women on these trips?
Yes, indeed.
Ed, you're a rascal. And do the ladies enjoy these mountain trips?
Yes, they do. They come back from the hikes as fresh as the men.
When is the next trip, Ed? I'll get out my alpenstock and I'll go along. I think one of these hikes would do me some good. How far do you walk?
Oh, 15 or 20 miles up steep slopes.
You just lost a member. You tell Flora I'll meet her in the foothills. And that goes for fauna, too. Huh? Some fauna, eh, kid? Well, I've learned a lot about the birds and the bees tonight, but apparently for me it's just a waste of time. We'll get on with the proceedings. You're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $4,000 question. You run your $20 no more than our other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The dancing teacher and the stevedore won $277.25, and the secret word is still hand.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected state landmarks. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
$15.
$15. In what state do you find the famous Pikes Peak?
Colorado.
Colorado is right.
On your way, you have $35.
Remember, you're going for $4,000 tonight. How much of the $35 will you bet this time?
$34.99.
$34.99. In what state do you find the famous Everglades?
Florida.
Fenneman, get hot.
You're climbing. You have $69.99.
Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
$69.98.
In what state do you find Mount Lassen, the only active volcano in the United States?
California.
California is right. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples.
This one up yet. Wait a minute. 18.
I haven't got all night, Fenneman. Get on with it, huh? $139.97. Is that right?
That's what I have, yes.
That's what I've got, too. And I figured it in my head.
No, 96. $139.96.
That leaves you what?
1 penny.
Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. You're going to bet practically everything. Ready? Mammoth Cave is in what state?
Kentucky.
Kentucky is right.
You wind up with $279.93, and that means that you, with your 293.7... I was doing so well.
He can't even read it off a piece of paper.
You wind up with $279.93, and that means that you get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $4,000 question.
No safer car was ever built than the 1952 DeSoto. Listen to these safety features. Safety rim wheels. In case of a blowout, this amazing DeSoto feature keeps the blown tire securely on the rim and helps you bring your car to a safe, smooth stop. The 1952 DeSoto brings you big windshield and window areas. DeSoto's wider, deeper windshield with narrower corner posts gives you a better view of the road. The 1952 DeSoto brings you big 12-inch brakes. No car in America has bigger brakes. And the special DeSoto parking brake is an entirely independent braking system, giving you 3 times the holding power of ordinary parking brakes. Oh, mister, there's no doubt about it. DeSoto had your family in mind when it built all these great safety features into its brand new 1952 DeSoto. See it. Drive it. The 1952 DeSoto. Now at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. And remember, the dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth, the low-priced car, most like high-priced cars.
Here's the beauty consultant and the Sierra Club man, the winning couple all ready for the DeSoto Plymouth $4,000 question, Groucho.
Well, you look strangely familiar to me, you two. All right, here we go for $4,000. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please no help from the audience. Here it is. I'm sure everyone has heard the lovely song, Who is Sylvia? Franz Schubert wrote the music. For $4,000, who wrote the words to the poem, Who is Sylvia? Talk it over. Well, what do you guess?
Elizabeth Barrett Browning, but you didn't.
No, I'm sorry. It was William Shakespeare.
Oh, for goodness.
That's the correct answer, William Shakespeare. So that means the big question next week will be worth $4,500. Well, you lost the big money, but you won. How much did they win in the quiz, George?
$279.93.
Well, that's pretty good. Congratulations and thanks.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $4,500. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. 2 great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember... See the 1952 DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Bad weather may excuse delay, but never an accident. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is FACE. F-A-C-E.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
Not so loud, you'll wake him up. Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with $4,500 for one of our couples.
Groucho, we have a bachelor and a spinster for you, selected from our studio audience just before we went on the air.
For me? Oh, you shouldn't.
Yeah, Miss Frances Richardson, Mr. Herman Cantor, come in here and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. A bachelor and a spinster, eh? Frances Richardson. Where are you from, Frances?
From Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. And how long did you stay in Washington?
Well, I left there when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, you were very smart for your age, weren't you? You must be a Republican, huh? There hasn't been a Republican in Washington since you were 4 or 5 years old. Hyman Cantor, huh?
That's right, Groucho.
You're the bachelor?
I'm the bachelor, yeah.
How old are you, Hyman?
Well, I'll be 58 on my next birthday.
51. You're a fine-looking lad.
Thank you, Groucho.
Where are you from, Hyman?
From Bayonne, New Jersey.
Bayonne?
Bayonne, New Jersey.
Oh, I thought that was the front part of a rifle. How is it you're a bachelor, a fine-looking boy like you?
Well, I just decided I wanted to be a bachelor.
When did you make this decision? Huh?
Many years ago.
I mean, approximately, how old were you when you...
Oh, I would say about 20, 21,
20, and what was responsible for this decision?
I'm not going to let anybody boss me around, tell me what I can do and what I can't do.
Well, if I ever saw a man who was ripe for matrimony, it's Hyman here. He's certainly ripe. I don't know if it's for matrimony. By the way, Hyman, did you see my picture in Look magazine this week?
No, Groucho, no, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Well, you don't have to regret it, but I was just checking, that's all. What sort of work do you do, Hyman?
Well, I'm not doing much of anything right now, Groucho. I'm a retired police lieutenant in Bayonne, New Jersey Police Department.
Is that so? That doesn't answer my question, but it certainly raises a few. What did you retire from?
I retired from the police department many years ago in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Oh, well, actually, you're a bull put out to pasture.
I guess you'd call it that, yeah.
Frances, do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I'm head of the research department at 20th Century Fox.
Oh, well, that's a pretty important job, isn't it? Could you give me a part in one of your pictures?
Well, I'm afraid not. I just work in the library.
Oh. Well, I've been on the shelf for the last 6 months. You ever get any unusual requests for information?
Yes, we get quite a lot of them.
What, for example?
One quite unusual one was someone wanted to know what kind of chemical he could use to dissolve a body in a bathtub and not hurt the enamel.
Nice kid, this was. Just a playboy, that's all. Well, it's been fun talking to you two, and I've learned quite a bit, and I hope you win lots of money from me tonight, particularly since it's not my money. Now, in just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $4,500 question. Now, Fenneman, suppose you handle this next interview.
Okay, Groucho, and who are you, sir? Why, it's our sound effects man, and I hear you rode in the new 1952 Plymouth. Well, such enthusiasm. A real beauty, huh? And what about those new Plymouth tone-tailored interiors? You don't say. Well, tell us about the ride. What kind of a road were you on? I know what you mean, real bad, huh? But inside the 52 Plymouth. Yes, that's Plymouth's sensational safety flow ride. Well, sound man, one more question. How about the engine? They tell me the cylinder head's been redesigned for smoother, high-compression performance. Can you show us how she sounds? Exactly. Quietest engine in Plymouth history. And these are just a few of the many exciting features. So, folks, run, swim, fly to your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. See the 52 Plymouth.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George?
Yes, sir. You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $4,500 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the program.
Let's see how I can build you $20. You selected characters in nursery rhymes and fairy tales. Here's your first question. How much you going to bet? You have $20.
What do you say?
19.
19 is all right with me.
19, all right. Who do you associate with a traveling pie salesman?
Peter Piper. No. Oh, no. No.
Talk it over.
Tom Thumb. No.
No, I'm sorry. Simple Simon.
You have $1.
Just want you to know that I have children, too. You have $1. Well, this is dreadful. Well, you're going for $4,500 tonight, and that's the big prize. How much of the $1 will you bet?
You do the talking.
50 cents.
50 cents. What royal character do you associate with a violin trio?
Oh, dear.
Francis, you're either scared or nervous or... all right, you have 50 questions. Well, the answer, of course, is Little Jack Horner. Old King Cole. Oh, I know it. 25 cents. All right. Who do you associate with curds and whey?
The spider that sat down beside her. No. Eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider and sat down beside her.
Yes, but we have to have the name. It's Little Miss Muffet. You knew it, but you just didn't know the name. You just muffed it, that's all.
That's all.
Now, how much you going to bet?
Bet it all.
All right, who do you associate with a candlestick?
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick.
That's right, Jack jump over the candlestick. Well, we don't let anybody leave here with 50 cents. No. We're going to give you one question. We don't want you to leave here with less than $25. So we're going to give you a question now for $24.50, and if you guess this correctly, we're going to give you $25. What color is the little brown jug?
Brown.
Brown is right. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Groucho, we invited...
I got fired if I hadn't said this.
Groucho, we invited some helicopter pilots to the program tonight, and our audience selected Mr. Henry Eagle to be on the show. His partner is a woman with an unusual occupation, Miss Hetty Klein. And here they come. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, kids, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100 in cash. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mr. Henry Eagle, huh? And Miss Hetty Klein, huh? Where are you from, Hetty?
I was born in Trenton, New Jersey.
Trenton, huh?
That's right.
What sort of work do you do, Hetty?
I work for Cal Best Electronics.
For who?
Cal Best Electronics.
Have you tried bicarbonate soda? What kind of an outfit is that?
Oh, we manufacture radios and television sets and amplifiers and all sorts of electronic equipment.
I see. And what is your job there?
I'm a production supervisor, and in my spare time, I'm a television repairwoman.
Really? Say, you're quite versatile, aren't you? Huh? Did you see my picture in Look magazine this week, Hetty?
No, I didn't.
I'm just checking this.
Well, television is certainly a mystery to me. For example, what's wrong when those big gray lines suddenly shoot across my screen sideways?
Oh, you have trouble with your horizontal circuit. Probably the oscillator isn't functioning properly, or the flyback transformer's not quite right, or possibly it's off frequency, or maybe just your waveform isn't proper.
What are some of the other common complaints of a TV set?
Oh, your vertical oscillator might not be oscillating properly.
You mean to say that my vertical oscillator isn't oscillating properly? Go outside and say that, Hetty.
It's quite possible that your audio output transformer might have shorted to the frame and shorted B plus to the chassis.
Well, that's true. That's definitely true.
Or probably your rectifier tube is shorted and giving trouble with your power transformer. That could short too also.
I guess I'm pretty much of a mess. What sort of work do you do, Henry?
I'm a helicopter pilot.
Oh, say, you've certainly got the appropriate name for it, Eagle. Sure. But don't mention it quite so loud because there are children listening to this show, and we don't like you to use the word, say helicopter. No, we try to be that way in this show. Every once in a while, the nice Nellie comes out in me. What's the difference between a helicopter pilot and a regular orthodox pilot?
Well, helicopter pilot pilots helicopters. And a regular...
I'm going to get some great answers from this kid here.
Regular pilot pilots airplanes.
Well, I have a pilot in my gas stove, and it doesn't pilot anything. It's out most of the time, and so am I. I'm home on the range occasionally. Just what is a hectocopter? And see if you can tell me without waving your arms.
A helicopter is a...
Hectocopter.
A hectocopter is a rotary-winged aircraft which depends on the rotating airfoils for its lift, and unlike an airplane, is aerodynamically unstable.
No, skip it. You'll never get it off the ground, huh? Who do you work for, Mr. Eagle?
I work for Los Angeles Airways.
Oh. What kind of an outfit is that?
Los Angeles Airways is the first commercial scheduled helicopter air mail service in the world, operating in the Los Angeles area here.
Tell us about your helicopter mail service. Has it speeded up mail service very much?
Well, it has speeded up the mail service greatly. For instance, you could mail a letter in San Bernardino tonight, and it would be in New York tomorrow morning.
That's quite an improvement. Only take me 3 weeks to walk to San Bernardino. As a matter of fact, I did mail an air special in Hollywood tonight, and will it be in New York tomorrow morning?
Yes, it will.
Well, that'll be quite a trick, because I sent the letter to Honolulu. Well, I've certainly added considerably to my education here tonight, particularly with my little joust with Hetty here. And if something goes wrong with my TV set, I'll call in my DeSoto Plymouth dealer. He can fix anything. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $4,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The spinster and the bachelor went broke, so this couple has a clear field. And the secret word is still face.
Here we go. Let's see how high you can build your $20. You selected Rivers of the World. Here's your first question. How much of the $20 will you go for?
15.
That's fine.
What is the name of the sacred river of the Hindus? This river empties into the Bay of Bengal.
Ganges.
Ganges is right.
You're off to a good start. You have $35.
Remember, you're going for $4,500 tonight. How much?
35.
35. Are you going to try this time?
30.
30. What is the name of the Alaskan river that served as a water highway for prospectors during the gold rush?
Yukon.
Yukon is right.
You now have $65.
Here's your third question. You have $65. What are you going to try?
64.
What is 64? It's a number we try not to use on this show.
What is the name of the South American river which has the greatest volume of water in the world?
The Amazon.
The Amazon is right.
You're really on your way. You have $129.
Amazon. I was out with one last night. Do you have how much?
$129.
Let's take it all.
You're going to bet $125?
No, all of it. $129.
$129. All right. What is the name of the African river which is the second longest in the world?
The Nile.
The Nile is right. Put it there, Henry.
And you wind up with $258.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We invited some dairymen to the program tonight, Groucho, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Jack Melbourne. His partner is a housewife, Yvette Hoppus. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, kids, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mrs. Yvette Hoppus. And Mr. Jack Melbourne, you're from Australia, huh?
I'm from Ohio.
Oh, from Ohio. I thought Melbourne was in Australia. You're the dairyman?
I'm a goat dairyman.
What's that?
A goat dairyman.
A goat dairyman, eh? Are you married?
Yes.
How'd you meet your wife?
I met her at a goat show.
Did she win any prizes?
Yes, she did. She won first prize. I came in second.
Well, that's very smart. Always marry the first prize. Mrs. Yvette Hoppus, you're the housewife, huh?
Yes.
What kind of a name is that? That's kind of a curious name, isn't it, Yvette Hoppus?
Yvette is French, and Hoppus is Irish and Dutch.
Oh, well, that's quite a combination. Anyone for smorgasbord? Where were you born? In France, Ireland, or Holland?
I was born in Alexandria, Egypt.
Well, kid, you've certainly been around, haven't you? Huh? What does your husband do, Yvette?
He works at North American Aircraft.
On aircraft? Is he a barber? What does he do?
He puts things together.
He puts things together?
Uh-huh.
What kind of things?
Oh, little iron things.
Little iron things like what?
Metal.
Oh, iron is a metal. I never knew that. Huh? You say you're a goat farmer, Mr.?
I'm a goat dairyman.
Oh, a goat. Oh, there is a difference, is there? How many goats do you have at your dairy?
$10 and 290 does.
That's a lot of does to get for $10. Yvette, let's talk about your husband. How did you meet this metallurgist or whatever he is?
Well, I met him in an elevator, and the way it happened was that we were both on the same floor, and we saw the elevator door open, and there was no bellboy around, so we walked in, and my husband said...
Oh, you were married before you met him?
No.
That's quite a trick. In Egypt, you know, they do that. First they get married, and then they meet each other. Frequently in a grain elevator. That is, if they know the roads. Now, what happened?
Well, he said, well, no bellboy around, let's go in. And I said, okay.
Oh, he's pretty snappy with the repartee, wasn't he?
So he said, your face sure looks familiar to me.
Wait a minute. Secret word. You said face, that's the secret word, so you each win $50.
Thank you.
Not bucks, I don't want to say bucks to a goat.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you are in the elevator, married. What happened?
So he said, you going downstairs? I said, yes. So he pressed the button to go downstairs. And you know what happened?
There was no downstairs button.
No! The elevator...
In Egypt, the elevators don't have a downstairs button. They only go up, and then they sneak around the corner and come back
again. The elevator got stuck between the second and third floor, and we were alone. So he said to me, isn't that intimate? I said, sure is. Isn't that intimate?
He said, isn't that intimate, huh?
He meant romantic.
How did you figure that out, Yvette?
Much later. So?
This program has now become, guess the name of that word.
And did all this finally have a happy ending?
Oh, wonderful.
Now he's
Thank
putting...
you.
Wouldn't that become part of this romance? Now, Yvette, if you'll excuse me, I'm going back to the goats for a minute, huh? How much milk does a goat give in a day?
Well, they don't really give it. You have to take it away from them.
Trying to make a goat out of me, eh? I suppose if the goat gets obstinate, you just take things in your own hands, eh?
Well, we treat them gently, kindly.
I guess you have to, don't you?
Play music for them.
You play music for them?
Yes.
While Nanny is being dehydrated, you play music? What kind of music? Everything I Have Is Yours, or... Do they like patriotic music, like the Yanks are coming? Hooray!
Well, we play anything that happens to be on the radio.
I see. They still listen to the radio? Yes. They're the only ones, the only survivors that are listening to radio, huh? 40 goats in San Fernando. Wait till Sarnoff hears about this. Did you see my picture in Look magazine this week?
No, I haven't seen it.
Do you take Look magazine?
Well, I don't take it. I buy a copy every week.
You're pretty quick on the trigger, aren't you? Maybe your goats ate my picture, huh? Well, I learned a lot about goats tonight, and also about Egypt. Was that where it was?
Something, your money's not real.
Yvette, I want to explain something to you. Yvette, I'm going to explain the facts of life to you. Right? There isn't anything on this show that's real. Plus that, there is a government law that you are not allowed to photograph real money. So on the show, we use this kind of Confederate money, and when the show is over, we will see that you are reimbursed with the real blown-in-the-bottle money. Now, does that wash away your skepticism about our whole operation here? Well, now you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $4,500 question. You run your $20 into more than the other couples. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The TV lady and the helicopter pilot won $258, and the secret word is still face.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected foreign monetary units. Is that right? And there's no point of you looking at Mr. Fenneman's sheet because the answers are not on there yet. These Egyptian tactics will get you nothing. Now, here we go. How much you betting?
It's about
18.
18. What is the monetary unit of France?
Francs.
Franc, you're welcome. That's right.
You now have $38.
Remember, you're going for $4,500. Now, how much is the...
You're right, huh?
Oh.
I don't trust
This kid could be a cashier at Alcatraz. And she looks so naive when she first came up there. Huh? How much you going to bet? You have $38.
Let's bet 36.
36, huh? I bet you handle the money in your family, don't you, you bet? Huh?
No.
All right, what is the... You're betting $36. What is the monetary unit of Italy?
Liras.
Lira is right.
You've now climbed to $74.
You have $74. How much you going to bet?
72. 73.
73. What is the monetary unit of Russia?
Rubles.
Ruble is right.
You now have $147.
$147, and this is your last chance to beat the other people. How much you going to bet?
That's all.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
The works. What is the monetary unit of Canada? Dollar.
Dollars.
The dollar is right. Put it there, kid.
And you wind up with $294. And that means that you people, in just 1 minute, get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $4,500 question.
It's here. The car that's designed for you and your budget, too. The beautiful new 1952 DeSoto. And, brother, is it made for comfort. Big and luxurious in every way. Wide front and rear doors you walk through instead of crawl through. Inside, there's plenty of room to stretch out and relax in solid comfort. The seats are chair high, so you get more leg room. There's headroom to spare, even for Mother's favorite hat. And the luggage compartment, too, is big and roomy, designed to carry loads of luggage. You can slide luggage in or out without having to lift it over a ledge. Yes, sir, count on roominess. Plus a whole host of other great features. And you've got the 1952 DeSoto. The car that's designed for you and your budget, too. Visit your DeSoto Plymouth dealers tomorrow and drive the exciting 1952 DeSoto. And remember, the dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth, the low-priced car, most like high-priced cars. Well, here comes the winning couple, Mrs. Hoppus and the dairyman, all set for the DeSoto Plymouth $4,500 question.
Yvette, there was never any question in my mind that you were going to wind up with the most money here tonight. Well, here we go for $4,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Here it is. I'm sure everyone has heard of Lady Godiva's famous legendary horseback ride through the streets of an English city. She did it in protest against impossible taxes. For $4,500, tell me, what was the city where this ride took place? You got 15 seconds. Walk it over. All right, what is the answer, you two? What is the answer? Coventry. What about me? You don't want to kiss me, huh?
You get after my money.
That's right. You win $4,500. Plus, how much in the quiz, George?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm aware of that, George, but take a stab at it.
$294 in the quiz.
That means you win $4,794. Plus the secret word, which is a fake $100. You haven't got the audaciousness now to accept real money for that $100. Well, congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You bet your life.
Thank you very much.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see the 1952 DeSoto.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. When walking, stop at the curb, look both ways, cross when it's safe. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.